Hi guys and welcome to Trading and Investing with Carl. In today's video we are going to talk about if Alibaba is worth an investment or not. First of all, this is only for educational purpose and no financial advice. First of all, we are going to talk about the pros of Alibaba. One big point is Jack Ma is back after he got lost, and in general, Jack Ma. Jack Ma is a visionary, and Jack Ma is an extremely clever guy. There is one quote that catched me. He said he's not the most intelligent guy, but he knows how to connect people, because intelligent people don't like to work together, and he's the guy that connects the intelligent people. And that is one very important thing in the world of business, because it's very hard to get things done by your own. He's very polarizing and his speeches catch a lot of people. And Jack Ma is actually the first thing you think about when you hear Alibaba. Another thing I like about Alibaba is their solid business model. It's one of the biggest players in the e-commerce world, and it provides a lot of goods for online shops. It is a broad spectrum of goods, from underwear to dishes to clothes to electronics, you name it. It got everything in their portfolio. Also, it has subsidiary companies like Taobao, Alipay, a very important payment system in Asia, AliSoft, AliMama, AliCloud, and you name it. It got a very big portfolio of subsidiary companies. Another thing I like about Alibaba is the numbers on the balance sheet look good on the first look. So earnings per share, the price earnings ratio is okay, their profits in general, their growth rate, their employment numbers, and all those things look good on the first view. But there are also things I don't like. I'm going to discuss with you in the contra list. Now we are coming to the contras. One thing I don't like about Alibaba is that it depends on Jack Ma. You saw as the announcement came that Jack Ma was missing, the price of Alibaba dropped. But on the other hand, you also can see with companies like Apple, when Steve Jobs died, it wasn't the end of Apple, but it is a big risk that exists in the company. Another thing I don't like about Alibaba is their balance sheet. It is impossible to read clearly. First of all, I'm not a balance sheet analyst, but I know how to read nice and clear balance sheet. And this balance sheet is far away from nice and clean. It has very aggressive accounting practices, and some things I don't understand where they come from. Here I'm going to show you why. Here you can see the balance sheet of Alibaba. You can download it on Alibaba's group website. You can see here it is far away from clean and nice, and there are a lot of different positions I've never heard of before. So that is one thing I definitely don't like about Alibaba. That's their balance sheet. It is very confusing, and you have to be a specialized balance sheet analyst to read this clear, and I think even them would have it hard to read this balance sheet. Another thing I don't like about Alibaba is the way of calculating their net intangible assets. Here you can see they got a very big position of user base and consumer relationship. The first thing I'm asking myself, how do you evaluate the value of the user base and the consumer relationship? Another thing that is maybe a little bit easier to calculate, that's the trade names, trademark, and domain names. Also a little bit easier to calculate, that's a non-compete agreement. Also the developed technology and patents is easier to calculate. Also the license, copyrights is easier to calculate. So summa summarum, they have around $49 billion of intangible assets, and that is a huge number of intangible assets. I really don't know where they get those numbers from, because if you think about companies that have, like, for real a lot intangible assets, that would be Alphabet, so Google, and that would be Amazon, because they bought a lot of companies, they bought a lot of patents, they bought a lot of different things that you can count as intangible assets to the company. And now let's take a look how much intangible assets Google, for example, has. So Google has round about 23 billion intangible assets. And that's something I can believe because they bought a lot of things to their company. So where does Alibaba get their 49 billion intangible assets from? I'm not saying Alibaba faked their balance sheet or something like that, because it's definitely a legal way they made their balance sheet, but there are some big question marks. Also, let's take a look at Amazon. So you can see here Amazon got here ending December 2020 around 15 billion in intangible assets, and now compare it to Alibaba, and you know how big Amazon and Alphabet are, and I really don't get it where Alibaba get the number of 49 billion in intangible assets. That's just something I don't get in my mind. Also, another thing I don't like about Alibaba is that Jack Ma has some kind of problems with the CCP. One thing you have to know is that without the CCP, so the Communist Party of China, you don't make business there. So they control everything in China. And if you have problems with the CCP, that is not good for the company. And as we said before, Jack Ma is a very important person for Alibaba, and it's not good that Jack Ma has problems with the CCP, because this could affect Alibaba. You saw it with the example of Ant Group with the cancelled IPO. Now, after we discussed the pros and the cons, we are going to take a look at the chart of Alibaba. Here you can see the chart of Alibaba. We are still in an uptrend. We got higher lows. We also didn't broke through that 0.6 Fibonacci level. At the sell-off we got here, so that is also positive. All in all, the chart looks positive, but it only plays a marginal role in investment. It just can show you if it is a good point of entry now, and in my opinion, if you look for an investment in Alibaba, it is at a level where you could get a good entry if you want to invest in Alibaba. So now we are coming to the conclusion. One thing I have to say, I have a small position in Alibaba, but I bought it at a very low price in March of 2020. So that's a completely different story, and it is only a small position that I am willing to lose, because for me it is a very speculative position. But we can say Alibaba's business model is great. I definitely love the business model, and it has a future. I love Jack Ma. Jack Ma is a visionary. He's a very clever and smart guy. The things I don't like is the very confusing and unclear balance sheet. That is something that really scares me to invest more money into Alibaba. And the thing with the intangible asset is something that scares me even more. Also, the problems with the CCP are very significant, because as I said, without the CCP you can't make business in China. If they say stop, they just stop it like this. So I hope I delivered you a good picture about Alibaba. Please keep in mind, this was only for educational purpose. This was no financial advice. Always do your own research in the things you want to invest. And with that all said, thanks for watching. Please smash up the like button. Maybe subscribe to the channel if you are new here. Good luck with your investing, good luck with your trading, and please don't get wrecked, people.